Such a nice day outside today. It's days like this where you look out the blinds and you're like, there could be so many things I could be doing right now. Could be out in the Congo, like stroking gorillas, playing with gorillas. Or I could be on the River Nile wrestling with crocodiles, alligators. So many cool things. Well, it's like days like this, I think, what would be really cool? Having a cyber deck. Like, you see them online all the time, they're like very steampunk, look cool, made using a Raspberry Pi, little screen on them, fold out keyboard. Like, that is pretty cool, very modern, very arty. And then I think, yeah, well, I'm not very good at art. I've got no art skill, so it's not like I'm going to make a cool cyber deck that looks very cool. And then you're like, yeah, Raspberry Pi, it's not really got much processing power, and the operating system isn't really compatible with software, so, that wouldn't be very cool either. And it's very hard when I'm getting old, man. It's hard to see a little screen. I've got to squint at it and get point blank to the screen these days. And then, like a little keyboard, it looks cool as you're folding it out, but, that kind of sucks because it's like you've got to cram your fingers really close to the keys and you're always missing keys, and every time you want to press an F button, you've got to like press function and 9 and stuff, and so much effort. You're like, oh god, like Cyberdeck sounded kind of cool for a bit there, but like now it just seems uncomfortable to use, and it's not very fast. It's not got much RAM. Hard drive isn't great. Wi-Fi is not very good. Oh, well, that really killed that. Yeah, what seemed cool for a bit there has just lost its magic. You're like, well, how about like instead of a Pi, I use like a little PC. I mean, laptops suck. It's like a mini PC of some kind. Get the new Windows on it. That'd be cool. And then you're like, well, little screens suck, so how like a couple of decent sized screens, like two 17-inch screens would be nice. And like, bugger the little keyboard, that nasty little keyboard. How about like a full-size mech keyboard? And then, yeah, like a full-size mouse as well, because touchpads, man, like who can use touchpads? They're just so inefficient. Like, well, I need a pretty big case. Like a case that's pretty wide. How about a shotgun case? Because they're pretty good. And that way I could, it's going to be pretty heavy and bulky, but I could still kind of carry it around a bit. Get two screens, 17-inch screens side by side. Lovely nice mech keyboard. PCs, little mini PCs, pocket rocket PCs. It could do with a bit of extra cooling, so maybe sneak a fan underneath there. And there's never enough USB slots for it, so a few USB adapters. And got to wire all that up, like got to get like 3 power leads to feed the screens and then feed the pocket rocket computer and the rest. So maybe I could get like a 12 DC voltage converter, and then maybe use a little board to step up the voltage for 19 volts to run the pocket rocket. And then from that 12 DC converter, I could use that to power a fan to cool the pocket rocket. And then I could use another little chip, which then changes the 12 volts to say 5.5 volts, but like decent ampage, so it could feed the couple of screens. And I don't really want, as I say, many different wires going on there. So perhaps I could just get an Anderson clip and one wire, and then feed 48 volts into the entire system, and then work from there. So let's turn this on. I mean, Pocket Rocket sounds kind of cool as a PC, but is it really that fast? Can it load up that fast? Or is this going to be going back to 2005 in a PC? You're like, you know what? It's actually pretty good load times. So, put in a quick pin. I like that. It's a nice screen. 2 screens. I could put some security on ESET. Get some coding software on there. Some Paint Shop Pro Magic. Have quite a nice little setup. And that's what I came up with, guys. Ryzen 5 processor Pocket Rocket machine, 16 gig of RAM, M2 hard drive, SSD, half a terabyte, 2 screens. One I'm feeding through HDMI, and the other one I'm feeding from USB-C. It'd be nice to use 2 HDMIs, but I've been trying to keep the price down on this build. It was nice to splurge on a nice mech keyboard full size. Got a nice mouse, put that in there. Then I'll cut a bit of a hole to put the power supply in. And I needed a gap cut out there so I could, when I've closed this case, everything closes nicely. And I cut out the foam on the bottom to put in the plastic tub, and that way there's a decent airflow and air circulation. This little Pocket Rocket machine is pretty good. It's about £350, and it's a Ryzen 5. I think it comes as default as 6 cores, 12 threads, and I think each core is running around 2.5 gigahertz, but you can pump that up with a turbo to 4 gigahertz, so you get 6 cores, 4 gigahertz, 12 threads. It's got a little fan within the Pocket Rocket, which is cool. Add on the 12 volt fan underneath with a bit of a gap underneath to let the air come up, then the air through this little plastic cover. Sneak that under. Put a bit of glue in there just to hold it so it's not moving side to side. And that's my version of a Cyberdeck. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later.